we are looking at writing equations just like we looked at writing verbal expressions back in 1.1. So if our task is to translate each sentence into an equation, we're doing the same thing we did earlier, we just now have an equal sign. So 7 times a number squared is 5 times the difference of k and m. So let's see, 7, we start with the product, 7 times a number squared. We'll call that number n for now, so 7 times a number squared is, that's going to be one of our symbols for an equal sign, is 5 times the difference of k and m. So that's going to be subtraction, and since it's 5 times the difference, we're going to have to group k minus m together. So we have 7 times n squared equals 5 times the group k minus 7, or k minus m, sorry. If we have 15 times a number, subtracted from 80 is 25. Let's just start and see where things go. So we have 15 times a number. Subtracted from 80, meaning we start with 80 and take away this product of 15 times a number. So 80 minus 15 times the number is equals 25. Now, we might talk about translating formulas. A formula is a rule for the relationship between certain quantities. So we may talk about formulas for distance, formulas for area, formulas for fuel efficiency, formulas for shipping costs. A formula is kind of a real-life equation. It tells us how things relate to each other, how quantities relate with one another. So if we translate formulas, we can say that the area of a triangle equals the product of 1/2 the length of the base and the height. So first thing is we need to define some variables. We need to define some of these variables. So we're going to call A our area. A is going to be our total area. And you know, if you have any formula, you will need to translate these variables as you go. So A is going to be our area. Let's call B the length of the base. And let's call H the length of the height. Now, we've defined these variables. And technically up here we should have said n equals a number, n equals a number. So, we've translated our variables. Now, the area of a triangle, so the area, A, equals the product, we're going to be using multiplication, of 1/2 the length of the base and the height, the length of the height. So we have the area equals 1/2 the length of the base and the height. Alright, now let's go the other way. We'll be given equations, we have to put them as sentences. We have to write them as sentences. So here we have 6z minus 15 equals 45. So let's say, I'm going to say 15 less than the product of 6 and z is 45. We could have said the product of 6 and v minus 15 equals 45. We could have said the difference of 6 times z and 15 equals 45. Endless possibilities. So, let's look at the second one. Y squared plus 3x equals w. Let's say, the sum of y squared and the product of 3 and x equals w. We do have to kind of be careful when we say the sum of, we're then waiting for two quantities. One of them is y squared, and the other one is the product of 3 and x. Be careful when you do the sum of, the product of, and things. But we were clear here and we said the sum of y squared and the product of 3 and x equals W. For our homework, our practice problems, we're looking at page 258, 1 through 18. Page 258, 1 through 18. We look at number 1. It's our directions say to translate each into a sentence. So it says 3 times r less than 15 equals 6. So 3 times r, let's just start with that. 3 times r less than 15. So we start with 15 and it's this much less, so 15 minus 3r equals 6. Remember, we're writing our original equation, so then we'll skip a line, we'll give us some space. Number 2, the sum of q and yada yada yada. You get the rest. Have fun.